Hi, my name's Adam Mead. I'm the executive chef here at Locale Restaurant for the Bortoli Wines in the beautiful Yarra Valley. So today we're going to be cooking the pasta course of our 4-course degustation. So the first step for making our filled pasta, the spinach and ricotta cappelletti, is to make the filling for the pasta. The ingredients that we've got here are ricotta, a little bit of blanched and squeezed blended spinach. So what we did with that was just blanch it in boiling water for 10 to 15 seconds. And then transfer that straight into ice water to cool down, and then we squeeze out as much liquid as possible before we blend it in a food processor. So to make our filling, we just combine all of those ingredients together in a bowl. We've added a little bit of lemon zest and the capers to this just because it's a seafood based dish, and those are a natural pairing of ingredients that go together. A little bit of grated parmesan just to give it some body and to help bind the mix. And then we'll use a whole egg to bring it together. So once we've got those ingredients together, as long as your spinach is quite well squeezed and dry, it'll make the mix a nice consistency, quite firm, and will hold very well in your filled pasta. Once you can see that the spinach is mixed through evenly, that you can just basically use that as your guide to say that the mix is mixed evenly, all of your seasoning and flavour is mixed through. And then just before we finish that, we just want to add some salt. The next step is just put that in the fridge, and we'll get our pasta ready before we start making our filled pasta. Okay, so now we've got our pasta that's rolled out here, ready to make our cappelletti. If you'd like to know how to make the pasta from scratch, just need to check out the other pasta making video, and that will show you how to make the pasta, how to laminate the pasta, and how to roll it down to the right thickness so we can make our filled pasta. So what we're doing today, we've got our spinach and ricotta mix in a piping bag. This is a disposable bag, but you could use any piping bag with an attachment with around, a centimetre or so cut from the end, or a small nozzle. So cappelletti is essentially a smaller version of a tortellini, and it's one that, is a particular shape similar to a tortellini, just to hold the sauce, to hold the flavour of the ingredients. I'm just working on a 7 centimetre square. And the other secret to doing a nice filled pasta is don't try and do too many at once. When you've got a lot of pasta cut out to shape sitting on your bench, the air starts to dry it out, and that means that it won't seal as easily, and it's more likely to break when it goes into the boiling water. To seal our pasta, we're going to use a little bit of egg wash just on a pastry brush. So we just brush that evenly over the pasta. So then we've got our farce. We want that, if we're looking at a square, we want it in the back half of the square. And it'll make it easier for us to fold the pasta. So when we fold the pasta, we just want to make sure there's no air in the pasta, and that's why we fold it down and we just squeeze it with our fingers to make sure there's no air before we pick it up and then finish our shape. Okay, so because this is part of our 4-course degustation, we're only going to serve around 5 or 6 of these as an entree. And that way we're just keeping people, looking forward to the next course and not being in a position where they can't actually eat the dessert. So now we've got our spinach and ricotta tortellini made. I've got all the ingredients here to put our dish together. So what I've done is with the mussels, especially with a dish of this size, we tend to just steam them first in a little bit of fish stock until they open, and then we just take out the meat rather than having the large mussel shell. Just, it's more of a presentation thing ends up taking over the plate. Being with a smaller dish, we have quite large mussel shells in there. So all we need to do is cook our cappelletti for 4 minutes. And if you've happened to frozen those down, as you would have seen in the other pasta making video, you just need to allow an extra minute of cooking time. So we can put those in the water, some nicely salted boiling water. So once we've got our pasta in the boiling water, with this type of seafood pasta, it's quite easy to make the sauce as the pasta's cooking. We've got our diced shallots, capers, garlic, and some long red chili, finely diced. So we've taken the pith and the seeds out of that to take away the heat. So what we're looking for is the flavour rather than the heat. So that just goes into a pan that's, on a medium heat, not too hot. We want to sweat those. If you find that it's too hot, we just lift that from the heat for a second just to take the edge off that. At this point, we can either use a fish stock, or we can actually just use a tiny bit of the water that we're cooking the pasta in, just to give us a more sauce base. And then we turn that off the heat while we're waiting for our pasta to finish cooking. Okay, so once we've got our shallots, garlic, capers and chilli sweating off a little bit, we want those to just soften slightly before we add our prawns. So prawns going first because they haven't been cooked. With the prawns, we just want to make sure we're cooking those quite gently. So we'll turn the prawns over after 30 seconds or so, and you can see that it's starting to cook through. At this stage, we don't want our shallots to burn, so we just add a small amount of the water that the pasta is cooking in. We can add our mussels in. Okay, our pasta's been cooking for 4 minutes, and we just take that out of the water with a slotted spoon. Just check the sauce. It's got nice. You just want to, the shallots and the garlic and the chili, it shouldn't really overtake. It should just be a subtle flavour just to enhance that seafood. So finish that with a little bit of chopped parsley and some nice extra virgin olive oil. The olive oil and the shallots have all coated those cappelletti, and that's a good sign that you've got your sauce at the right consistency. And then we can drizzle a little bit of sauce over the dish. And we're just actually going to use a little bit of dried mullet roe, which is bottaga. It's a very common product. It's from the south of Italy, and it's one that you can find in your delis or maybe at some markets around the city. And that's just a nice salty garnish to finish this kind of seafood pasta. So as per Leander Bortoli's recommendation, this ricotta and lemon cappelletti would go very well with the La Boheme Act 3 Pinot Gris and Friends. Cheers!